where things stand right now and what we can expect to happen today.
Yeah, total uncertainty right now. The Senate Republican leadership is scrambling to try to get this measure through the United States Senate as soon as early tomorrow morning, with the procedural vote as soon as this afternoon. But there are major questions about whether they can actually do that or whether they'll be forced to punt amid opposition from both the moderate flank of their party and also the right flank of their party, concerned about some of the key provisions in this sweeping proposal and about some demands for some changes. Just last night, just before midnight, the Republicans put out a roughly 980-page bill, revised text of this massive proposal that would deal with a multi-trillion-dollar overhaul of the United States tax code, deep cuts into programs, including like Medicaid, new work requirements for social safety net programs, hundreds of billions of dollars for new defense spending and whole and border security spending. But it is those cuts in particular that are dividing Republicans. On one side of the aisle, people like Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin warning that he plans to vote against moving forward because he said it does not go far enough in cutting spending. And also Senator Rand Paul already says he is a no because of the plan's inclusion of a $5 trillion increase to the national debt limit. Then you have others and the more moderate flank of the party, like Senator Susan Collins of Maine, who are concerned about the cuts to Medicaid, worried that it could impact rural hospitals in their states. They want inclusion of a relief fund in this latest text, about $25 billion worth for some of those providers who would be hit hard by the Medicaid cuts. But it is not far enough, not as much money as those like Senator Susan Collins and Senator Josh Hawley, a more conservative member, have called for. Roughly $100 billion they wanted to provide relief for some of those hospitals. So where does this all leave Senate Republican leaders? In an uncertain position, because they can only afford to lose 3 votes to move ahead on this massive measure. And already you have, but not just Johnson, not just Rand Paul, but also Senator Thom Tillis warning he could vote no. Where does Senator Susan Collins come down? Senator Josh Hawley and others who are still uncertain about moving ahead here. So the big question for Republican leaders here, Fred, is whether or not they actually will roll the dice, put this on the floor, have Donald Trump pressure these members to fall in line, or whether they'll have to punt and retool this massive package amid opposition within their conference.
And all this,
Right.
Manu, while you have the House Speaker who says this is jet fuel for the nation's economy. So he's pushing hard to advocate for things as is.
He most certainly is, Fred, and he's also trying to deal with rebellion within his own conference. There are a lot of members who don't want to simply be jammed by the United States Senate. They want some time to review the bill themselves. They want their own changes. But the hope among the Republican leaders and the White House is they can somehow get this through the Senate barely tonight or tomorrow morning, get it onto the House, and have the Speaker and Trump roll over those members who are trying to stand up to them. Will they get their way? Well, remains to be seen, but that is the calculation at the moment by the Republican leaders.
All right, Manu Raju, we'll check back with you. Thank you so much there on Capitol Hill.